wallet.
And in the Impact segment tonight, American General John Batiste, retired from the Army, is appearing in an anti-Iraq, anti-Bush advertisement.
Mr. President, you did not listen. You continue to pursue a failed strategy that is breaking our great Army and Marine Corps. I left the Army in protest in order to speak out. Mr. President, you have placed our nation in peril. Our only hope is that Congress will act now to protect our fighting men and women.
Now, that ad was paid for by votevets.org, which says it's nonpartisan, but a study of its PAC shows 93% of Vote Vets donations go to Democrats. With us now, Fox News military analyst General Wesley Clark, who is on the board of advisors of votevets.org. You know, I understand the dissent, and the general, certainly a patriot, has a right to say whatever he wants. I wouldn't have done it. Got guys over there in bad situations right now. Congress is debating what to do about this situation. I wouldn't have piled on like the general did. Am I wrong?
Bill, I think you're wrong. I think
you would have piled on?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
look, this policy has been a mistake. We should never have invaded Iraq. But the American people supported it. And guys like John Batiste, who did a great job in the United States Army, he was a fine division commander. He was there on the ground. He saw it. He tried to make it work. And then he realized in perspective that the problem is not the troops. The problem is the policy and the strategy.
All right, but the problem is the troops now. Put yourself in a company commander's shoes, because they watch Fox News. They're watching us right now. And you see this, and your guys, you're trying to keep your guys' morale up, and you're trying to get your guys to perform in very, very difficult circumstances, and this stuff comes on. I don't think this is right. I really feel it's wrong. You got to look out for the guys first. I don't think Batiste is looking out for the guys. I think he's looking out for politics.
Well, I don't think so. I think the most important thing John Batiste can do to look out for the troops is to try to get them a strategy and policies that work and make their sacrifice
meaningful. That's already
meaningful.
in play. If it wasn't in play, sure it is. Congress is debating it right now. What do you think they're doing?
I think there's a big debate going on, and I think John Batiste's voice is very welcome in that debate. He's been there, he's seen it, and he's a very
It's a legitimate
force.
point. I'm not going to condemn the general. He's a patriot and braver than I am, but I would not have done it. Makes me queasy.
That's his sense of responsibility.
Okay, you. I got a bone to pick with you.
You do?
You, I bet. George Soros donated $75,000 to your Westpac.
You brought this up the last time.
And we didn't have time to get into it. Do you know how radical left this guy is? Do you have any clue about how radical left he is?
Listen, George Soros he's an embodiment in many respects, Bill, of the American dream that every person aspires to. He came to this country. He's done a lot of good. Do you know what George Soros' foundations have done in Eastern Europe? Do you realize
he does some humanitarian work?
How much great, no, not humanitarian work, democratizing work.
Well, okay. He's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon in France. He's a convicted felon in France. He ruined the British pound by selling it short. And let me ask you this. Do you stand for euthanasia? Are you a euthanasia guy? You believe in that?
Because someone gives you money on a common cause doesn't mean you endorse all their political views.
$75K.
But here's what I do stand for.
You don't euthanasia. You don't believe in that, do you?
No, I've never endorsed
legalize
euthanasia.
narcotics.
But here's
legalize narcotics.
But here's the point.
You're not going to answer me?
I don't think that's the relevant question.
Sure, it is.
No, it isn't.
This guy gave you $75,000.
And if a Republican had given me $75,000, I would have taken it also.
Okay.
And I wouldn't have.
David Duke gives you money. You're going to take his money.
I wouldn't have taken David Duke's view.
All right.
Is David Duke a good Republican? I'm not sure.
Well, you wouldn't have taken David Duke's money, but George Soros says we need denazification in this country and compares the Bush administration to the Nazis, and you're taking $75K from him.
I can't defend everything George Soros says.
You can't defend anything he does.
Oh, yes, I can.
No, you can't.
I've seen the work he's done. He's made a huge impact in the world. He's trained thousands and thousands of democracy workers. He's put his personal reputation and his personal wealth behind it. He's made a difference.
Are you an open border guy? You want the open border? You want everybody coming in here?
I'm in favor of democracy in Eastern Europe, and George Soros has put his money into it.
I'll tell you what.
Not only there, but he's supported other groups that have helped around the world, bringing American values in a realistic way.
I'm going to have my guys, FedEx, because I know you're traveling abroad, FedEx you a package of who this guy really is. I don't care what he's done in Bulgaria. It doesn't matter.
Listen to me. That's character assassination.
You bet it is.
I'm not interested in character assassination.
It's facts.
I'm interested
in
advancing American values. You're going after
American values, euthanasia, legalized narcotics, open borders,
democracy, freedom of the press, open free speech.
This guy is
in favor of all of that.
This guy is undermining the country abroad, wants a one-world government. I mean, this is as radical as it goes. There isn't a more radical person in the country than him. You took $75K from the most radical individual in the United States of America.
You're just going after somebody.
You bet.
And it's personal and it's
not
wrong.
personal.
You ought to look at his results.
Results for what?
I don't have to defend his views. I can look at the record of what he's accomplished in Eastern Europe.
You are a patriot. It's who you associate with that people are going to judge you by.
Well, I'm associating with you.
Well, that's because you're getting paid to do it.
He
gave you money.
Bill, I'd be here with you.
Oh, General, don't try to charm me. You're wrong on this guy. I would be. This guy's dangerous.
I think you're wrong.
He's dangerous.
He's not. He's a legitimate voice in the United States of America.
MoveOn.org, you like them? You think they're good?
I think they've had a legitimate role to play.
You do? You like that character assassination? You like them going in and cutting everybody up?
You like the Swift boats?
Swift boat. Don't divert the thing.
No, that's the question.
Listen, I was one of the big critics of the Swift boats. I was one of the big critics. Well, I'm no hypocrite here, but you're on the wrong side of the street here, General.
Bill,
you're on the wrong side of the street.
I think you've said a lot of things that are very, very personal. You ought to be looking at the issues.
We back up every one of them.
Let me tell you something. You ought to be worried about where this country's headed.
I am. I'm worried about George Soros giving guys like you $75,000.
Our soldiers and their families over there who haven't had a decent leadership and decent policy.
I'm worried about the White
House in 4 years.
I'll agree with you on that.
And George Soros
I'm worried about
and people like him are putting the money in it to try to change that policy.
All right. Always spirited, General. Thank you for coming in.
Good to be with you.
All right. Directly ahead, violence in France.